we're watching The Big Short today. I'm gonna keep my version of the synopsis pretty brief because the movie's gonna do a better job of explaining itself than I realistically am going to be able to. But the basic gist is that it follows several hedge fund managers who are slowly getting wind of the financial bubble that eventually led to the '08 housing market crisis. And because they understood these metrics that a lot of other people were either overlooking or neglecting to even bother to go into, they were able to ultimately make a lot of money on the fact that they knew everybody was going to lose their homes and the whole world economy was on the brink of collapse. Are you ready to watch this movie? Kinda sounds like a bummer. Then follow me! This is why I told you to wear comfortable shoes. He's got food on his shirt.
The mortgage-backed security. You've got your average person's mortgage.
They're like money.
I'll buy 20 million.
Oh, come on, live a little.
25 million.
20 million, that's not living. That isn't. You're poor unless it's 25. I can't show that. Gonna do awful for my AdSense.
And America barely noticed as its #1 industry became boring old banking.
I think it's data right now.
I'm guessing most of you still don't really know what happened. Yeah, you got a soundbite you repeat so you don't sound dumb, but come on.
Hey, that's true. Mine is 30% of the American currency currently in circulation was printed within like the last 2 years.
While the whole world was having a big old party, a few outsiders and weirdos saw what no one else could. Not me. I'm not a weirdo. I'm pretty f***ing cool.
Okay, guy.
These outsiders saw the giant lie at the heart of the economy, and they saw it by doing something the rest of the suckers never thought to do. They looked.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. I've seen this movie a couple times, so I know a little bit. But it's one of these movies that definitely needs rewatching. I feel like I still learn stuff every time I see it.
Specific identifiers, extremely.
It's got a bit of a, it's a glass eye.
I've always been more comfortable alone.
They're doing something with the flashback where they have it as more of a yellow hue to it and the present is blue.
You have a very nice haircut. Did you do it yourself?
Oh no. Could have had Christian Bale as Batman and Joker.
So do I get the job? I really think I could help your fund.
Yeah, sure.
He's like, yeah, I don't care.
David.
Doesn't even know his name, dude. Just hired him.
So you want to know what the top 20 selling mortgage bonds are?
I want to know what mortgages are in each one.
That's a lot of math. That sounds like a bad day at the office, to be honest.
Ask anyone. I'm a pleasure to work with.
You radiate that.
You hear the words that are coming out of my mouth, and
Sorry, I'm late. No cows.
He's not in this. That's just an extra.
What do you mean? I didn't hijack the meeting. Did I hijack this session?
Yeah,
What do you do?
I'm in commodities.
Good luck with that.
Makes a lot of friends. Wherever he goes.
No.
He's out.
Here, Porter.
He's done.
Bye, everybody.
It's efficient. That's my bank account. Typically, you use red when, you know, you're on the decline, right? In terms of your company's valuation. Green is a sign that your stock's rising, but they have theirs at red. Is it because they're not as high as they want to be? Are they still sitting at a loss? Totally irrelevant. Reading way too much into it. Let's keep moving.
If they fail above 15%, the whole bond is worthless.
We'll talk about this later.
Lawrence, please don't patronize me.
Basically, he was able to look at them Excel spreadsheets and go, oh man, based on what people are paying, how many rates there are, how many mortgages there are, there's literally no way that the market isn't going to fail. And everybody else was just kind of like, no, man, housing's solid. That sounds like hooey.
Wall Street loves to use confusing terms to make you think only they can do what they do. Here's Margot Robbie in a bubble bath to explain.
Just a little bit of drool.
So the banks started filling these bonds with riskier and riskier mortgages. Thank you, Banjo.
Something I've never understood is like what constitutes a risky mortgage. Is it just like the parameters of the agreement that you sign, where it's like you put no money down really, and there's nothing to inhibit. I think that's what they're getting at with adjustable rates. There's nothing to like inhibit them from just upping your monthly payments however much they want to. But if someone who's actually in finance could help clarify that bit for me, it would save me Googling it.
These mortgage bonds that were supposedly 65% AAA were actually just mostly full of shit.
And also, a 65% can only be AAA in banking. Could you imagine coming home with a 65% on your report card and being like, I mean, if I wanted to go into banking, technically this is an A+++. You know what I mean? I'm grounded. Brilliant.
Got it? Good.
Hey, continuity error. She picked it up twice.
Now, off.
Okay.
We have to act now.
How do you know the bonds are worthless?
I read them.
No one reads them. Only the lawyers who put them together read them.
Which is the issue.
There are no insurance contracts or options for mortgage bonds. The bonds are too stable.
This is what's interesting. It's worth noting that at the time that he was sort of coming to this conclusion and deciding he wanted to go out and bet against the housing market, there wasn't actually anything in the bank's portfolio, I guess, or like service list. They call them options. I'm gonna use that word because they did, but I'm not totally sure what that encapsulates. But he basically went to the bank and was like, I want to bet against the housing market. They're like, okay, but we don't really have anything that will do that. And he went, I need you to make me one.
They're all getting screwed, you know. You know what they care about? They care about the ball game, or they care about what actress just went into rehab.
Well, what actress did go into rehab? Why's she there?
I am sad every
Day about what happened. I know you must feel the same, but you never show it.
I like the music.
That's my cab. That is my cab.
It's not schmuck. You, that's you.
Ah, New York.
Based on prevailing sentiment of the market, banks, and popular culture, yes, it's a foolish investment, but everyone's wrong.
He's just like a hipster embodied. You're all wrong, and I'm gonna make a lot of money backing that opinion.
I'm sorry, are you for real? You want to bet against the housing market and you're worried we won't pay you.
Yes, that's correct.
What an absolute power move.
You'd have to pay us monthly premiums.
This is why he basically ends up pissing a lot of people off. He has the potential to earn a whole heck of a lot more than he's paying at the moment, but he is still paying like millions of dollars a year to basically keep this bet alive with the bank using the hedge fund's capital. So everybody at hedge fund is like, hey, where's our money going?
I have prospectuses on 6 mortgage-backed securities all onshore.
Majority of the mortgages. Which one?
So I never understood what this smile was about until fairly recently. He did like months of research into like all these mortgages and like looking into which ones were likely to fail, and they kind of flipping through it and just go, yeah, this should be fine. And he's a bit like, you have no idea. You're not going to do any research into it. Not going to fact check, really. Yeah, that was something that for a while I thought the smile was just like a character moment of him, you know, being the awkward guy who like smiles at, maybe he was like smiling at himself to a joke or something. I don't know what I thought, but I was like, that part didn't click for me. Yeah, he looks like he's talking to himself. Who would do that? That's weird.
I like these cups. Could I take one for my son?
Yes.
He was taking a memento because he was pretty sure their banks were going to fail. That's what the mugs were about. Someone commented on, I can't remember which clip it was, but they basically said he literally just mugged the bank.
You were shaking that for some paper.
So this is based on a book as well. And they kind of changed it in the screenplay adaptation. But when he went into the banks, he would ask really like sort of overly simple questions to suggest to the bankers that he didn't really know what he was doing. It's kind of wild to think about. Oh, Brittany, the world did you so wrong.
Want to join? No?
Second.
Oh.
Ah.
Somebody shorted 200 mil in mortgage bonds.
That was just with Deutsche. Word is he had half the town.
Cheating the narrative there. We know from the exchange that the guy had with the other guy who was like with the girl in the bottle and everything, what was relayed between the two of them.
We just sold 200 million in credit swaps for mortgage bonds.
He's suddenly far more insightful about it and knows like the guy went to every bank and took out hundreds of millions of dollars with each one. But you kind of got to move this script along because they cover a lot.
How much in total?
1.3 billion.
Michael, this is highly
Distressing.
Green screen. It's a green screen. Bet my money on it.
So now we pay out premiums on these swaps against
The housing market until the mortgages fail?
I like the bell in the background while he was saying that as well. It's like, this is an red alert, red alert. What are you saying we're doing? I want profits, not premiums. Well, sometimes you gotta pay to play. It takes money to make money. Do you not have these idioms?
We're expecting to be expecting. IVF's cleaning us out, but we're staying
That's
positive.
exciting.
Don't care.
Epididymis, which is the thing that goes around the ball.
Why are they putting graphics up for that?
Epididymis.
I'm riveted.
by this.
I do like the delivery and sort of the stylistic choice that's being made here and how real and authentic the conversation is coming across. Like they're doing things where they're repeating words and talking over each other. I haven't read the script. I should read the script. I'd be interested to see if that was on the page or if they kind of let the improv flow in that moment.
Cynthia wants me to quit and open a B&B in Vermont.
That sounds great. I'd love to see Mark Baum run a bed and breakfast. Like, here's your steel-cut oatmeal, asshole.
There are restaurants like that. There are restaurants that you can go to where you'll just get berated by the wait staff. It's like part of the experience. I don't know why I felt like sharing that.
She says this job is making me unhappy.
But you're happy when you're unhappy.
I am happy when I'm not happy.
Everybody with a Twitter account encapsulated right there in that sentiment.
The optimist of the bunch.
They're not just telling us that. We saw he was an optimist by how he was relaying the news of his recent doctor's visit.
What's the ABX at?
What's ABX?
It tracks subprime mortgage bond value. Go back to sleep.
That's right. These lucky sons of bitches caught wind of one of the best trades in Wall Street history from a wrong number.
That kind of luck's only comparable to Axel Weber. Huh? That was topical.
10% to my stick assistant.
Oh, this is fun. So Ryan Gosling's character shows up with an assistant fairly soon, and the character of the assistant was basically written into the script because of how well Ryan and this extra got on behind the scenes, so I've heard. Which I just think that's pretty cool. It's like, yeah, I was palling around with this guy, and I was like, hey, we should put him in the movie. And then they did. Yeah, he's got a bit of a fake tan.
What do we have?
That's the assistant. Not him. You know what I mean. Yeah, that guy.
So how many people have you talked to about this trade?
A few. There's definitely some interest.
Which is why you're here talking to us, a wrong number.
Fake it till you make it.
You smell that? What is that?
Opportunity.
Feels like a college presentation.
This is your basic mortgage bond.
The number 3 is quite pertinent in a lot of aspects of film. You have the rule of thirds, which has to do with the grid framing of your shots. Giving 3 examples of something is typically the rule that filmmakers adopt, because after that, you kind of need to move on. There's also, I don't know if there's really a term for this, but whenever you have like 2 opposing forces, so in this instance we have Ryan Gosling's character and his assistant trying to convince this hedge fund group led by Steve Carell to invest in these credit swaps with him as the broker, so then he makes a pretty high return on it. So those 2 forces are kind of like, one of them's got a goal of like convincing the other one to keep engagement high and intrigue going within those scenes. You also want something that's kind of operating as a focal point. In this instance, it's going to be these Jenga blocks and what they serve to represent within the context of this deal. So I feel like you could also call that the rule of 3, but for the sake of comprehension, maybe it needs another term. Come up with options in the comments below. And what's your shows?
You're completely sure of the math.
My math specialist, look at him.
Yeah.
You notice anything different about him?
Can't do that.
He won a national math competition in China. He doesn't even speak English.
I got second in that national math competition.
Hey man, you still got a podium.
20-1. No way.
So pessimistic. Maybe way.
Big bank, small bank, I like to make money.
Big bank, take little bank.
Nobody knows what's in the bonds. I've seen some that are 65% AAA that I know for a fact are filled with 95% subprime shit with FICOs below 550.
This has to violate his NDA.
You guys are under the capital requirements for an ISDA.
By how much?
$1,470,000,000.
This makes us look bad, doesn't it?
You could have Googled it. You know what I mean? It's like, we want an ISDA. What do we need to get an ISDA? Ooh, sounds like maybe we can't afford an ISDA right now.
So happy, 'cause
He's looking rough.
Let's crunch some numbers and then talk about
crunch
calling
the numbers. We always crunch the numbers. When haven't we crunched
Seriously,
the numbers?
guys?
Gotta crunch those numbers.
I heard the Cuban food is amazing in Miami. Please don't be chipper in the face of me being miserable. It really makes me hate you.
I can relate to that. Struggle with other people's positivity. Why did my voice crack?
Your landlord filled out his mortgage application using his dog's name?
Doesn't bode well.
It's like the Mari Celeste. Didn't even clean out the cat litter.
It's a weird deal. Blah, blah, blah. It's a weird... I'm not even gonna say it. Just call my name, the Signs of Shannara. I'm guessing that's what the company was named after. Oh, -9.3.
So Mike Burry of San Jose, a guy who gets his hair cut at Supercuts and doesn't wear shoes, knows more than Alan Greenspan and Hank Paulson.
Yeah, Dr. Mike Burry, yes, he does.
Boom.
And the premiums?
Well, we pay 80 to 90 million each year.
You're managing a fund of, what, 555 million?
In 6 years, it'll all be gone.
But presumably you're still earning in that time. It's not as though you're just sitting on your fund and not moving around money in stocks and stuff like that.
But if they trust me, and they trust me because
No
I've
one
always performed.
trusts you.
So in this respect, you have the fund manager, the representative of the investors, and the third focal point is actually the guy standing yelling on his behalf. Call back to the previous scene was Ryan Gosling, his team, Steve Carell and his team, and the Jenga. In this case, it's Christian Bale, the head investor, and the guy who's yelling.
The market's in an itsy-bitsy little gully right now. It's like everybody's...
Orlean, you'd say they're motivated, right?
He's like, why is she so close to me?
So where do we stand?
I need to talk to my wife.
Nice catch-all sentence to get out of making any obligations at the time.
Yeah, I was a bartender. Now I own a boat.
You own a boat. So how?
Just, oh really? Shut up.
My firm offers ninja loans. No income, no job.
Which sounds great in theory if you're on one end of that, where it's like, really? I got a mortgage? And then cut to your adjustable rate going up. Now you can't afford the house. What's that face? Let's make a meme of this face right here.
You're going to be stuck paying whatever your monthly payment is once it jumps up after your teaser rate expires.
So the teaser rate is kind of like the window of time that you have on those adjustable rates before they basically end and then they're no longer adjustable anymore. I think. I didn't study finance in college. I've just gleaned stuff from my own research. Once it ends after that teaser rate, I think basically whatever your adjustable is no longer adjustable and it will like actually stop. They were saying 200% higher than what she had initially thought she would be paying. Yes! So we're gonna have to ask you to leave. We might revoke your membership if you don't stop screaming.
What can I say? You know, I'm good at finding shit.
Not sure I would list that skill on my resume. But made them a lot of money, so what do I know? Oh, it's a great song.
barrel trade this.
Brad Pitt was ahead of the game on this one. I still use this quote.
Gentlemen, I spoke with Mark Baum. He says to fuck off.
Okay, so now Steve Carell's character and the guy who just said f off have gotten to the ratings agencies, which are supposedly a bipartisan quantifiers on the value of options and stocks that are being traded. But based on the conversation that just happened...
Yeah, are they downgrading the CDOs or mortgage bond?
Where are the ratings agencies at?
They're the fucking same.
What we're given to understand is that even though the values of subprime loans have gone down, the bonds have still gone up in value, and the ratings agencies are still listing them at AAA when, based on the metrics, they shouldn't be now.
My eye doctor's always busy.
And it just says, like, the fact that she's wearing glasses, like she's just been to the doctor, is, like, suggesting that she's not necessarily being able to see clearly. Willing to bet that was probably a metaphor that they decided to incorporate.
They're selling ratings for fees.
And it is not my decision. I have a boss.
So now
You-
anyone
you
who has
two
a
obviously
boss
just work for yourselves,
can't be held responsible for doing shitty and illegal things. What are you for?
No, I am not for.
She takes her glasses off at the moment where she's about to call him on the fact that he has a vested interest in this and he's not just a morally upstanding person.
How many credit default swaps do you own?
I'll bet you right now that those double A's are actually like B's.
I rarely ever say these words, but I think Charlie's right.
I wouldn't... He's your business partner.
So we want to do 15 million in swaps on the double A tranche.
Took out 15 million of a $30 million fund. Wow. Go big or go home, I guess.
Are you at all concerned about the rising default rates?
I assume no risk for these products myself, Mark.
Asshole.
We have a pool of 50 million in subprime loans. How much money could be out there betting on it right now, tonight?
$1 billion.
What?
That's a lot. I mean, if you were working with numbers all day, I feel like you would need an outlet like this.
Bye, Kathy.
Kathy does not want to talk right now, man. I would let Kathy go.
How can the value of an insurance contract not be affected by the demise of the very thing it insures?
They're independent markets. They're not always correlated.
No, bullshit.
And they go to another bank and short the shit they just fucking sold.
Let's go to the press, man.
I'm not gonna burn my reputation on your wild hunch.
It's not a hunch. It's not a hunch. They literally looked at the math.
Shane? Shane?
Get out, Shane.
What's your exposure? 3 billion? Please don't tell me it's more than 4.
15 billion.
We have nothing to do with Morgan Stanley.
Morgan fails, all our accounts go on their balance sheet.
Oh, okay, so this could affect their own position now.
There's a class action lawsuit against Bear.
Yeah, so they now also, they're in the same position as Morgan Stanley and Steve Carell's team. They're both under umbrellas of banks that are at the risk of going up in smoke, in which case they could lose their position and net nothing.
We have no clue how to sell
I know,
it.
we have to get Ben to do it. I've been trying to call him and he won't get back to me.
He's on vacation with his wife's family. They're in England.
What?
Motherland.
This was the Ali versus Foreman of the financial world, the realists versus the fools.
In this scene, the two opposing forces are Steve Carell's character and the head of the Bears Bank, and the focal point of interest is the Bears stock price plummeting on people's cell phones as they're talking.
Wall Street took a good idea and turned it into an atomic bomb that's on its way to decimating the world economy.
Does our bull have a response?
Only that in the entire history of Wall Street, no investment bank has ever failed unless caught in criminal activity.
What's interesting about his response, it totally neglects any sort of moral position. He just says, our bank's not gonna fail.
From the time you guys started talking, Bear Stearns stock has fallen more than 38%. Would you still buy more?
Of course I'd buy more. Why not?
What do you mean, why not?
This new Cuban place just opened on the Lower East Side, supposed to be good.
He's like, we should do something positive. The world is very negative now.
You're buying stocks? The market's at an all-time low. This is crazy.
Buy low, sell high, man. 2.6 billion in profit.
Paulson and Bernanke just left the White House.
It has a lot of inspiration from The Social Network, just in terms of like the music.
I have a feeling that in a few years, people are going to be doing what they always do when the economy tanks. They will be blaming immigrants and poor people.
I'm not sure this is going to be one of my more uplifting uploads. That's an interesting cut. Final shot of the film is him sitting over New York City. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. I'd say the big takeaway of this movie is that we all need to be a little bit smarter about how we invest our money. Let's put it in toilet paper. Who's gonna stop shitting?